every morning, before the world begins pulling at your attention, before the noise of fear, pressure, and doubt enters your mind, you need to speak truth over your life. The direction of your day is often decided by the words you allow to settle into your heart. Many people wake up already defeated because they start the morning thinking about problems instead of promises, burdens instead of blessings, fear instead of faith. You must learn to encourage yourself before anyone else does. You must train your mind to focus on what is eternal, strong, and true. Life will challenge you. There will be disappointments, delays, unanswered questions, and moments when you feel exhausted. But every morning is another opportunity to renew your spirit and realign your heart. The first thing you must tell yourself every morning is, I am grateful for another day. The fact that you opened your eyes this morning means there is still purpose attached to your life. Gratitude changes the atmosphere of your heart. Instead of complaining about what you do not have, thank God for what you do have. A grateful spirit creates peace. It reminds you that even in difficult seasons, you are still blessed. So, many people are waiting for a miracle while ignoring the miracles already surrounding them. Your life, your breath, your family, your opportunities, your ability to keep going, these are gifts. Start your day with thankfulness, and your perspective will begin to change. The second thing you must tell yourself is, I will not live in fear today. Fear has a way of stealing joy before anything even happens. Many people suffer more in their imagination than they do in reality. Fear whispers lies about failure, rejection, sickness, and defeat. But you cannot allow fear to control your decisions. Courage does not mean you never feel afraid. Courage means you move forward even when fear tries to stop you. Every morning, remind yourself that you are not facing life alone. The challenges ahead of you may be real, but so is the strength available to you. Do not feed your fear with worry. Feed your faith with truth. The third thing you must tell yourself is, I have a purpose. You were not created accidentally. Your life matters. There is something unique you are meant to do, someone you are meant to encourage, and a path prepared specifically for you. The enemy wants people to believe their lives are meaningless because a person without purpose quickly loses hope. But you must never measure your value by your current situation. Your purpose is greater than your pain. Even your struggles can shape you into the person you are becoming. Every morning, wake up knowing that your existence has meaning. There is still something ahead of you worth pursuing. The fourth thing you must tell yourself is, I will choose peace over worry. Worry cannot solve tomorrow's problems. It only steals today's strength. Some people wake up immediately thinking about bills, stress, conflict, and uncertainty. Their minds become heavy before the day even begins. But peace comes when you release control and trust that God is working even when you cannot see it. Peace is not the absence of trouble, it is confidence in the middle of trouble. Protect your mind each morning. Refuse to let anxiety dominate your thoughts. You cannot control everything, but you can control where you place your trust. The fifth thing you must tell yourself is, I will not let yesterday define me. Too many people carry yesterday into today. They carry guilt, regret, bitterness, and disappointment everywhere they go. Every morning is a fresh opportunity to begin again. Mistakes may teach you, but they should not imprison you. Failure is not your identity. Pain is not your future. You cannot move forward while constantly staring behind you. Learn from the past, but do not live there. There are people who gave up on themselves because of one bad season. But your story is not over. What happened yesterday does not have the authority to destroy tomorrow unless you allow it. The sixth thing you must tell yourself is, I am stronger than I feel. There will be mornings when you feel weak, tired, and emotionally drained. Sometimes the battle inside your mind is heavier than the one outside. But strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is simply getting up again. Sometimes strength is choosing not to quit. You have survived difficult moments before, and you will survive again. Do not underestimate what God can do through a surrendered heart. Even when you feel empty, He can renew you. Even when you feel broken, He He can restore you. Speak strength over your life instead of defeat. The seventh thing you must tell yourself is, I will walk in love today. Anger, bitterness, jealousy, and unforgiveness. Pity poison the soul. Every day you will encounter difficult people. Some may misunderstand you, criticize you, or hurt you, but you must guard your heart carefully. Love is not weakness, it is strength under control. Forgiveness does not excuse wrong behavior, but it frees you from carrying the burden of resentment. If you begin each morning asking God to help you love people well, your heart will remain lighter. You cannot experience true peace while holding on to hatred. The eighth thing you must tell yourself is, I trust God's timing. One of the hardest things in life is waiting. We want immediate answers, immediate breakthroughs, immediate change. But growth often happens in hidden seasons. Delays do not always mean denial. Sometimes God is preparing you, protecting you, or positioning you for something greater than you can currently see. Impatience creates frustration, but trust creates stability. Every morning, remind yourself that your life is not falling apart simply because things are not happening as quickly as you expected. Trust that what is meant for you will arrive at the right time. The ninth thing you must tell yourself every morning is, today I will keep. P, moving forward. Life can knock people down repeatedly. Disappointments can make a person want to quit trying. But you must develop endurance. Success in life is often less about talent and more about persistence. Keep praying. Keep believing. Keep growing. Keep showing up. There will be days when progress feels slow, but slow progress is still progress. Never underestimate the power of consistency. Small, faithful steps eventually lead to great transformation. Your mornings matter more than you realize. The words you repeat daily shape your mindset, influence your decisions, and affect your spirit. If you begin every morning filled with negativity, fear, and hopelessness, you will struggle to recognize the good around you. But when you intentionally speak truth, faith, gratitude, and purpose over your life, something begins to change inside you. Do not wait for perfect circumstances to have peace. Do not wait for success to become grateful. Do not wait for confidence to start moving forward. Speak life over yourself now. Every sunrise is a reminder that God is still giving you another chance, another opportunity, another day to grow stronger, wiser, and closer to your purpose. Every morning you wake up, you are given something priceless that many people take for granted, and other opportunity to live, grow, learn, and move closer to your purpose. Before your feet touch the ground, before the worries of the day begin to speak into your mind, you must train yourself to begin with faith and gratitude. The way you start your morning often determines the direction of your entire day. If you begin with fear, stress, and negativity, your spirit becomes heavy. But when you begin with gratitude and trust in God, your heart becomes steady and strong. There are people who wake up every day immediately thinking about problems. Their minds rush toward bills, pressure, disappointment, uncertainty, and fear. They begin the morning carrying burdens they were never meant to carry alone. Slowly, their joy disappears because they have forgotten how to be thankful. Gratitude is powerful because it changes your focus. It reminds you that even if life is not perfect, there is still goodness all around you. You may not have everything you want, but you still have blessings that others are praying for right now. When you wake up in the morning, take a moment to thank God for life. E itself. Thank Him for breath in your lungs, strength in your body, and another chance to begin again. Some people went to bed last night with plans for today, but never woke up to see the morning. The fact that you are alive means your story is not finished. There is still purpose attached to your life. There are still doors waiting to open, lessons waiting to shape you, and blessings waiting to arrive in the right season. Faith begins when you choose to trust God even when you cannot see the full picture. Many people only feel secure when everything around them is going well. But true faith remains steady even during uncertainty. There will be mornings when you wake up without answers. You may not know how a problem will be solved. You may not know how your situation will improve. But faith says, even though I cannot see the way, I trust the one who does. Faith gives peace in the middle of confusion. It reminds you that God is already ahead of you, preparing the path before you walk on it. Too often people allow negative thoughts to control their mornings. They replay yesterday's mistakes, disappointments, and fears until their hearts become discouraged. But every morning is a fresh gift from God. Yesterday may have contained failure, pain, or regret, but today carries new mercy and new strength. You cannot move forward if you continue living emotionally trapped in the past. Gratitude helps free you from that trap because it shifts your attention from what went wrong to what still remains right. There is something powerful about speaking grateful words aloud each morning. When you say, "Thank you, Lord, for another day," you are reminding yourself that life is still filled with hope. Even if your circumstances are difficult, gratitude keeps bitterness from taking root in your heart. Some people have money but no peace. Some have success but no joy. Some appear strong on the outside while feeling empty within. True richness comes from knowing that God is with you and that His goodness still surrounds your life. Faith also means believing that your current struggle is not the end of your story. Many people become discouraged because they expected life to move faster or easier than it has. But delays are not always denials. Sometimes God uses waiting seasons to strengthen your character, deepen your trust, and prepare you for greater things ahead, if ever. Everything happened immediately, you would never learn patience, endurance, or dependence on Him. Every season has a purpose, even the painful ones. When you start your morning with faith, you stop allowing fear to dominate your mind. Fear constantly asks, "What if things go wrong?" But faith asks, "What if God is about to do something greater than I expected?" Fear weakens your spirit, but faith strengthens it. Fear causes panic, but faith produces peace. This does not mean life becomes easy. It means you no longer face life alone. You begin to understand that God's presence is greater than the challenges standing before you. Gratitude also protects your heart from comparison. One of the fastest ways to lose joy is to constantly compare your life to someone else's life. Every person has a different journey, different timing, and different struggles hidden beneath the surface. What God is doing in someone else's life does not take away from what He can do in yours. Be thankful for your own path. Your story is unfolding exactly as it needs to. The blessings meant for you will arrive at the proper time. Sometimes people wait until life becomes perfect before they decide to be grateful. But if you only focus on what is missing, you will never experience contentment. Gratitude teaches you to recognize God's goodness even in small things. The warmth of sunlight, the voice of someone you love, the strength to keep going, the opportunity to try again, these are all reminders that God has not abandoned you. Faith and gratitude together create a strong foundation for life. Gratitude keeps your heart humble, while faith keeps your spirit hopeful. Gratitude reminds you of what God has already done, while faith reminds you of what He is still able to do. When you begin each morning this way, your perspective changes. Problems may still exist, but they no longer control your attitude. Challenges may still come, but they no longer steal your peace. Every sunrise is proof that darkness never lasts forever. No matter how difficult yesterday was, the morning reminds you that new beginnings are possible. God specializes in restoration, healing, and fresh starts. He can strengthen the weary heart, restore broken confidence, and bring hope back into places that once felt empty. That is why every morning you must choose faith over fear and gratitude over complaint. Every day, there is a battle taking place inside the human mind. It is a battle between fear and faith, worry and peace, negativity and hope. Long before most people face challenges on the outside, they are already struggling with thoughts on the inside. The mind can either become a place of strength or a prison of anxiety, depending on what you allow to remain there. That is why you must learn to replace fear, worry, and negativity with peace and trust. If you do not guard your thoughts carefully, fear will slowly steal your joy, weaken your confidence, and rob you of the peace God wants you to live in. Fear has a powerful way of convincing people that the worst outcome is always about to happen. It whispers thoughts of failure, rejection, sickness, disappointment, and defeat. Fear causes people to lose sleep over things that have not even happened yet. Some people spend their entire lives preparing for disasters that never come. Their minds become exhausted because they constantly imagine negative outcomes. But fear is not from God. Fear clouds your judgment, drains your strength, and keeps you from moving forward into the future prepared for you. Worry works the same way. It promises continued role, but only produces stress. Many people believe that if they worry enough, somehow they will protect themselves from pain. But worry has never solved a single problem. Worry cannot change tomorrow, but it can destroy today's peace. It keeps the heart restless and the mind overwhelmed. Some people wake up every morning immediately thinking about finances, relationships, health problems, or uncertain situations. Before the day even begins, their spirit already feels heavy. They carry burdens they were never meant to carry alone. Peace begins when you finally realize that you do not have to control everything. One of the greatest sources of anxiety is the belief that everything depends entirely on you. But there are situations in life that no amount of human effort can fix. There are seasons where the only thing you can do is trust God completely. Trust does not mean you stop being responsible. It means you stop allowing fear to dominate your heart. It means you believe that even when you cannot see the answer, God is still working behind the scenes. Some people confuse peace with the absence of problems. They think peace only comes when life becomes easy. But true peace is not dependent on circumstances. Real peace remains steady even when storms are happening all around you. It is the quiet confidence that God is with you no matter what happens. Life will always contain uncertainty. There will always be things beyond your understanding and control. But peace comes from knowing that nothing surprises God. He already sees the end from the beginning. Negative thinking is dangerous because whatever fills your mind eventually shapes your life. If you constantly tell yourself that nothing will improve, you will begin living without hope. If you constantly focus on failure, you will start expecting defeat before you even try. Thoughts are powerful. That is why you must become careful about what you allow to stay in your mind. Do not rehearse fear daily. Do not repeat negativity over your life. Speak words of faith instead of defeat. There are many people who appear strong on the outside while quietly fighting anxiety inside. They smile in public but carry heavy fear in private. They are afraid of not being enough, afraid of losing what they love, afraid of the future, afraid of failure. But God never intended for you to live under constant pressure and fear. E wants your heart to rest in Him. Trust grows when you remember His faithfulness in past seasons. If He carried you before, He can carry you again. Sometimes fear grows because people spend too much time focusing on bad news, negative voices, and discouraging thoughts. What you feed your mind matters. If you surround yourself with constant negativity, your spirit will eventually become drained. Protect your peace carefully. Not every voice deserves access to your heart. Learn to spend time in prayer, reflection, and truth instead of filling your mind with fear-producing thoughts all day long. Trusting God does not mean you will never face difficult moments. There will still be painful seasons, unanswered questions, and unexpected disappointments. But trust changes how you walk through those seasons. Instead of panicking, you remain steady. Instead of collapsing emotionally, you hold on to hope. Trust allows you to believe that even painful experiences can serve a greater purpose in your life. Some of the strongest people are not those who avoided hardship, but those who learned how to trust God through hardship. Fear often exaggerates problems. It makes obstacles appear larger than they are. They really are. But when faith enters your heart, perspective begins to change. You start remembering that God is greater than every obstacle in front of you. You realize that no challenge is too difficult for Him. The same God who opened doors before can open doors again. The same God who provided before can provide again. The same God who strengthened you before can strengthen you again. Worry also steals the present moment. Many people are physically present but mentally trapped in tomorrow's problems. They cannot enjoy today because they are consumed with what-if thoughts about the future. But life was never meant to be lived in constant panic about what may happen next. You were created to walk daily in faith. Trust means placing your future into God's hands instead of carrying it all yourself. Peace comes when you finally accept that God's timing is better than your own understanding. Some answers take time. Some prayers are not answered immediately. But delay does not mean abandonment. Sometimes God is preparing you while you are waiting. Sometimes He is protecting you from things you cannot yet see. Trust requires patience, and patience strengthens faith. Every month, ringing you must choose what will lead your heart's fear or faith, worry or peace, negativity or trust. That choice matters more than most people realize. The condition of your mind affects every part of your life. A fearful mind becomes weak and discouraged, but a peaceful mind becomes steady and strong. Do not allow temporary problems to convince you that your future is hopeless. Difficult seasons do not last forever. Storms eventually pass. Darkness eventually gives way to light. God is still in control even when life feels uncertain. That is why you must train yourself daily to reject fear, release worry, and embrace peace. The more you trust God, the less power fear will have over your life. One of the greatest struggles many people face is forgetting who they are and why they are here. Life has a way of exhausting the human spirit. Disappointments, criticism, failure, and hardship can slowly cause a person to lose sight of their purpose and doubt their own strength. There are people walking through life today who feel invisible, lost, and uncertain about their future. Deep inside, they wonder if their life truly matters. They question whether they are capable of overcoming the sea, challenges standing before them. But every morning you must remind yourself of two important truths. You have a purpose, and you are stronger than you feel. You were not created by accident. Your life is not random or meaningless. God designed you intentionally with gifts, abilities, and a calling that no one else can fulfill exactly the way you can. Too often people spend years comparing themselves to others and feeling inadequate because they are focused on what they lack instead of recognizing what God has already placed within them. Comparison steals confidence because it causes people to measure their worth against someone else's journey. But your purpose was never meant to look identical to another person's purpose. God created every individual uniquely. Some people think purpose only belongs to those who become famous, wealthy, or publicly successful. But purpose is much deeper than recognition or status. Purpose is found in the lives you influence, the kindness you show, the faith you carry, and the impact you leave behind. A person can change someone's life simply by offering encouragement during a difficult season. Never underestimate the value of your presence in this world. Sometimes the smallest acts of obedience create the greatest results. There will be seasons in life when your purpose feels unclear. You may feel stuck, confused, or discouraged because things are not unfolding the way you expected. During those moments, the enemy will try to convince you that your future is empty and your efforts are pointless. But confusion does not cancel your purpose. Delays do not destroy God's plan for your life. Often the seasons that feel the most uncertain are the seasons where God is shaping your character the most deeply. Many people give up too soon because they mistake difficulty for failure. They assume that because life became hard, they must be moving in the wrong direction. But some of the greatest growth happens during difficult seasons. Strength is not developed during comfort. It is developed during struggle. Faith becomes stronger when tested. Character becomes stronger through adversity. A tree develops deep roots during storms, not during calm weather. In the same way, your challenges may actually be preparing you for a greater future than you currently understand. You must also remember that strength is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes strength is simply refusing to quit. Sometimes strength is waking up each morning and continuing to move forward even when you feel emotionally exhausted. There are people who believe they are weak simply because they feel tired. But feeling tired does not mean you are failing. Even the strongest people experience moments of weariness. True strength is found in persistence. It is found in continuing to trust God one day at a time. There will be moments when life wounds your confidence. Harsh words, rejection, betrayal, or failure can leave emotional scars that make you question your worth. Some people spend years believing negative labels spoken over them by others. They begin defining themselves by past mistakes instead of by God's truth. But your failures are not your identity. Your painful experiences do not determine your value. God sees potential in you even when you struggle to see it yourself. Too many people underestimate the strength God has already placed inside them. They pray for strength while forgetting how many battles they have already survived. Look back over your life for a moment. There were seasons you thought would break you completely, yet somehow, you are still standing today. There were nights filled with tears, uncertainty, and fear, but God carried you through them. The fact that you survived those moments is proof that His strength has been sustaining you all along. Purpose also requires patience. We live in a world that constantly pushes people to seek quick success and immediate results. But meaningful growth takes time. A seed planted in the ground does not become a tree overnight. There are hidden seasons where roots develop beneath the surface before visible growth appears. In the same way, God often works quietly in your life before the breakthrough arrives. Do not become discouraged simply because you cannot yet see the full picture. Some of the most important work God does happens in hidden seasons. There are people who abandon their dreams because they listened to discouragement for too long. They allowed fear, criticism, and disappointment to convince them they were incapable. But you cannot allow negative voices to speak louder than God's promises over your life. The world may try to define you by your limitations, but God defines you by your potential. He sees beyond your weakness. He sees beyond your ear. He sees the person you are becoming. Strength also comes from surrender. Many people believe strength means handling everything alone, but true strength comes from depending on God. Human strength eventually becomes exhausted, but God's strength never runs out. When you feel weak, He can renew you. When you feel broken, He can restore you. When you feel uncertain, He can guide you. The strongest people are not those who never struggle, they are those who continue trusting God through their struggles. Every morning you must speak truth over your life before negativity has a chance to take root in your mind. Tell yourself that your life matters. Tell yourself that your struggles have not been wasted. Tell yourself that God still has a plan for your future. Refuse to let temporary pain convince you that your purpose has disappeared. Difficult seasons are temporary, but God's calling over your life remains steady. No matter how many setbacks you have experienced, God can still use your life powerfully. Your past mistakes do not disqualify you from your future purpose. In fact, sometimes the very areas where you suffer the most become the places where you are eventually able to help others the most. God has a way of turning pain into wisdom, wounds into strength, and brokenness into testimony. The world desperately needs people who refuse to quit, people who continue walking by faith, even when life becomes difficult. Every day you wake up is another reminder that your purpose still exists. As long as you have breath in your lungs, God is not finished with your story. Life has a way of testing every person's endurance. There will be moments when you feel tired, discouraged, and ready to give up. There will be seasons when progress feels painfully slow and nothing seems to be changing. Many people begin their journey with excitement and hope, but somewhere along the way, disappointment weakens their spirit. They experience failure, rejection, delays, and unexpected hardship, and slowly they stop believing that things can improve. But one of the most important lessons you must learn in life is this: never stop moving forward no matter what challenges come your way. Every person who has ever accomplished something meaningful faced obstacles. No one reaches their purpose without difficulty. The problem is that many people expect life to be easy, and when rounds appear, they immediately assume something is wrong. They think struggle means failure, but struggle is often part of growth. Difficult seasons are not always signs that you are losing. Sometimes they are signs that you are becoming stronger than you were before. A seed must first be buried beneath the ground before it can grow into something beautiful. During that hidden season, nothing appears to be happening on the surface. But underneath, roots are developing. In the same way, there are seasons in your life when it may seem like no progress is taking place. You pray, work hard, and remain faithful, yet the breakthrough has not arrived. Those are the moments when many people quit. They become discouraged because they cannot see immediate results. But growth takes time. God often works quietly before he works visibly. You cannot allow temporary setbacks to convince you that your future is hopeless. Failure is not final unless you decide to stop trying. Some of the strongest people in the world are not those who never failed, but those who refuse to stay down after failure. Every setback carries a lesson. Every painful season can teach wisdom, patience, humility, and prayer. Severance, if you allow it. The enemy wants people to believe that one mistake ruins everything, but God is able to redeem broken situations and create new beginnings. There will be days when your strength feels small. There will be mornings when you wake up emotionally exhausted from carrying heavy burdens for too long. You may feel like no one understands your struggle, but even during those moments, you must keep taking one step at a time. Sometimes progress is not dramatic. Sometimes progress simply means refusing to quit. The world often celebrates big victories while overlooking the quiet strength required to keep going during difficult seasons. Too many people abandon their future because they become impatient in the process. We live in a generation that wants instant success, instant healing, instant answers, and instant results. But meaningful growth rarely happens quickly. God develops character slowly. He prepares people through seasons of waiting, stretching, and refining. If everything happened immediately, many people would never develop the maturity necessary to sustain the blessings they are asking for. Challenges also reveal what is truly inside a person's heart. Anyone can remain hopeful when life is easy, but perseverance is revealed during hardship. Faith becomes real when circumstances are uncertain. Trust becomes meaningful when answers are delayed. Some of the greatest spiritual growth happens during seasons when you feel weak and dependent on God. Those difficult moments often deepen your character more than comfortable seasons ever could. You must also understand that the road ahead will not always make sense. There will be moments when God's timing feels confusing. You may wonder why certain doors closed, why certain relationships ended, or why certain prayers seem unanswered. But not every closed door is punishment. Sometimes God closes doors to protect you from paths that would ultimately harm you. Sometimes delays are preparing you for something greater than what you originally imagined. One of the greatest dangers during difficult seasons is comparison. When you compare your progress to someone else's journey, discouragement quickly enters your heart. You begin questioning why others seem to succeed faster while your own path feels slower and harder. But every person's story unfolds differently. God is not working on identical timelines for everyone. What he is building in your life may require different preparation. Trust that your journey still has purpose even when it looks different from someone else's. Persistence is powerful because small, consistent steps eventually create great transformation. Many people underestimate the importance of simply continuing. They think success comes from giant moments, but often it comes from daily faithfulness. Keep praying even when answers feel delayed. Keep believing even when doubt tries to enter your mind. Keep working even when recognition does not come immediately. Keep growing even when progress feels invisible. The enemy often attacks people hardest when they are closest to breakthrough. Discouragement becomes intense when something meaningful is ahead. That is why you must guard your mind carefully. Do not allow negative thoughts to convince you that quitting is the answer. Your current struggle is not permanent. Storms eventually pass. Painful seasons eventually change. What feels overwhelming today may someday become the testimony that strengthens someone else. There are people who gave up too soon because they allowed temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. They walked away from dreams, relationships, and opportunities because they became tired of waiting. But endurance requires patience. You may not always feel motivated, confident, or emotionally strong, but perseverance means continuing even when feelings fluctuate. Some days faith will feel easy. Other days it will feel like a battle. Keep moving forward anyway. God never promised that life would be free from hardship, but He did promise to remain with you through every season. You are not carrying your burdens alone. Even when you feel weak, His strength is available to sustain you. Some of the greatest miracles happen after the hardest seasons of endurance. Many people want victory without struggle, but victory becomes meaningful because of the struggle that came before it. Do not underestimate how much can change simply because you refuse to quit. A year from now, your life may look completely different. Doors may open that you never expected. Healing may come to places that once felt broken. Opportunities may appear that you cannot currently imagine. But none of those things can happen if you stop moving forward. Every morning you wake up is another opportunity. Opportunity to continue your journey. You may walk slowly at times, but slow progress is still progress. God is more interested in your faithfulness than your speed. Keep trusting Him one day at a time. Keep believing that your life still carries purpose. Keep moving forward through disappointment, uncertainty, and fear. One step of faith today can eventually lead you into the future God has prepared for you. At the end of the day, the battle for your life often begins in your mind each morning. The words you speak to yourself, the thoughts you choose to believe, and the faith you carry in your heart will shape the direction of your future. Life will not always be easy. There will be storms you did not expect, delays you do not understand, and moments when your strength feels small. But you must never forget that God did not create you to live defeated, fearful, or hopeless. Every morning is a new opportunity to begin again with faith, gratitude, peace, and determination. When you choose gratitude, your heart becomes stronger than bitterness. When you choose peace, fear loses its control over your mind. When you remember your purpose, discouragement cannot destroy your confidence. And when you keep moving forward despite the challenges, you develop the kind of strength that only comes through perseverance. Do not allow temporary struggles to make you forget eternal truth. God is still working in your life even when you cannot see immediate results. Every challenge is shaping you. Every delay is teaching you. Every difficult season is preparing you for something greater ahead. The pain you feel today is not wasted when placed in God's hands. He has the power to turn weakness into strength, confusion into wisdom, and brokenness into testimony. You are stronger than you think, more valuable than you realize, and closer to breakthrough than you may believe. Stop speaking defeat over your life. Stop allowing fear to control your future. Wake up each morning reminding yourself that God is with you, guiding you, strengthening you, and preparing a way even when the road seems uncertain. No matter how dark yesterday was, today is another chance to trust again, hope again, and move forward again. Keep praying when answers feel delayed. Keep believing when circumstances seem impossible. Keep standing when life tries to shake your faith. Because the people who continue walking with God through difficult seasons are the people who eventually witness His greatest blessings. And always remember this: the same God who carried you through yesterday is already waiting for you in tomorrow.